On this week's episode, we are talking with Tyler Watson, a life and business breakthrough specialist and creator of the Abundance Alignment Technique, a revolutionary new high achievement strategy that goes beyond mindset and skill set to align every energy system in the body and dramatically shortcut the time and effort it takes to get real results now. He went from a place of depression and addiction, financial struggles, and not believing in himself to developing a process that helped him change his life, as well as the lives of thousands of others in record time. He's worked with businesses and teams, million-dollar coaches and public figures, and hundreds of entrepreneurs and families. His clients have routinely shared feedback such as, "My former self would have taken weeks and months to change. Now it's only in a day." And it's in areas such as relationships, wellness, and abundance. They've also recently joined and enjoyed successes such as adding an additional $30,000 to their monthly income within their first days of the sessions with him, and without changing marketing, sales, or other systems except their own personal power. Tyler will share with us, and he also has a book coming out, so be sure to listen in. And he also gives us a little sneak preview of his technique in abundance alignment. So listen in and you'll get a little of information, and of course you'll get more about the details of how all of this works. So he's targeting cause-driven entrepreneurs, high achievers, those who know that the power of transformation, maybe they've tried a lot of different things, they're feeling stuck, and they're maybe successful but struggling to balance things, and they go for goal-oriented and problems arise and get sidetracked and then make them no longer to be able to attain them. So listen to what Tyler has to say. I guarantee you will love what he has built in the abundance alignment technique. But first, your marketing essentials, what you need to have in your marketing plan and strategy, the tactics that you need to take. I'm going to tell you about 3 ideas that can really maybe help pursue a better place for you to help you build your brand and your bottom line. So investing in video channels. We know that marketing definitely is through video, and even more now today as all of the people spend so much time on screen time. We know that YouTube and professional networkings like LinkedIn and Facebook video natively posted right into Facebook, Instagram videos, messaging app, WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, podcasts. You can do video on podcasts, right? You'll just have like the audio file playing on a video. All of these places, Snapchat, all of these places are places that you can put your videos. And if it's testimonials or if it is company history videos, those types of things. So something that you really need to continue to build is your video portfolio, sharing and showing and getting people to give you testimonials or about you or demos. Those types of things are really very important for content distribution to then help you generate leads, to help you educate or entertain, or edutainment, I like to call it. But these are some things that you really haven't, if you haven't put them in your plan, continue to think about how you can do it. And you can either do it on your own with your own iPhone, or you can hire a professional. Peppershock has people who can help you with the videos, even if it's you're shooting them and we edit them, or we can help with motion graphics and animation, titles on the screen, for subtitles, because sometimes people will read it more than they'll turn the audio up. So all of those things, we tell people to make it audio agnostic. So that way, if you don't have the audio up, you can still understand what's going on. And messaging apps are becoming more and more prevalent too. So utilizing chatbots and utilizing Facebook Messenger. I don't know how many times within the last month even, I have been messaged on Facebook because people were inquiring about wanting to use our services. So being open and available to looking at your direct messages or your messenger, your WhatsApp, utilizing those types of things, and using chatbots to help answer questions right away. If people have frequently asked questions, you can use those chatbots to then help answer questions or direct people where they need to go if they have something that they need to understand. If it's hours of operation or, location, any of those types of things. So Messenger, utilizing Messenger in your business is really something I would continue to do. And then, of course, the nice benefit of utilizing those chatbots is it has an automatic response, but then you can go back and respond and give people, your customized response, right? But then it gives instant response, answers to simple questions. It can easily communicate, if somebody's complaining about something, can be notified right away. It gives you answers to those questions that they may have. So thinking about that and how you can utilize those chatbots as automation to help you, right? I always say measure what you treasure, dump what you don't, and automate what you hate. So things like that it will help you build your brand and your bottom line. Okay, so before we get to Tyler's podcast, I have one more thing I need to do, and I have to tell you all about the Stash app. The Stash app is a place where you can do online banking. You can actually do trades on the marketplace. You can do in the stock market, I should say. You can stash your money for, I don't know, a trip to Hawaii, whatever it is you want to do. It's all in an app. It's the Stash app. And if you use my link, we both benefit. You can get $20 worth of free stock that will go into your account once you make your first investment. So the Stash app is really a place to go to help manage your money and your banking and all of the things that you want to do, all the goals that you want to set. You can stash money away in those different accounts that you set up. And it's really been helpful for me to also utilize it and show my two boys how to invest money and what that looks like. And you can set it up on a reoccurring basis so that there's money going into their accounts. As a parental or custodial account, you can do that. So the Stash app is a place for you to go. Use the link in the show notes and we will get you going. All right, so without further ado, let's get right into it with Tyler.
Welcome to Peppershock Media's Marketing Expedition podcast, keeping you up to date with the latest in marketing and advertising. Now here's your host, Ray Allen.
Welcome to the Marketing Expedition podcast. I'm your host, Ray Allen, the president and CEO of Peppershock Media and the founder of the Marketing Expedition community. And today's guest, we have Tyler Watson. Welcome to the show, Tyler.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's fun to be here.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey and what got you to where you are.
Yeah, so my main mission is to empower entrepreneurs to truly become unstoppable. And too often in life, entrepreneurs, we're go-getters, we use our mind, we'll will through anything, we'll dedicate our lives, we'll go attain the goals, but a lot of times it's at great costs. We sacrifice our health, our time, our marriage, our kids, and we do it with the goal to say, it's for the family, it's for those I love. And yet many times end up sacrificing the things that we hold sacred. And so my goal is to put an end to that insanity and help empower entrepreneurs to truly attain their goals in days instead of years. And we do that through many powerful processes that go beyond the mind and into every part of our body. So super powerful stuff. I have tons of things on my journey and what got me to it and results from amazing people. But yeah, anything in particular like you want to hear?
Yeah, I guess what kind of motivated you to want to start down this path of helping entrepreneurs get through their journeys?
Well, it really started when I was young. My dad is what's called a clinical kinesiologist. My stepmom's a naturopath. And around the age of 12, I remember a time where my parents were together. I'm the oldest son. And my dad sits me down on the couch and he says, "Hey, we need to talk." And in that moment, I'm like, I forgot to do my chores. I'm in trouble. Like, we never talk because the only thing we do is like go play games or something. So I'm like, oh no, I'm in trouble. And he looks at me, he says, "Hey son, your mom and I are getting a divorce." And this was out of the blue. I didn't even know they were struggling. I was 12. And what I felt him say, I heard him say they're getting a divorce. What I felt him say and interpreted, it wasn't just in my mind, it was in my body that I felt that it was my fault. It was this weight in my heart, a pit in my stomach, things that I wasn't even aware of. And I put on my smile, pretended that everything was okay, became class president, MVP, became a high achiever. And at the end of the day, struggled with depression, suicidal thoughts, thought about different ways that I could kill myself and wonder if anyone would even care. I watched my mom go through 3 more divorces and my dad through another. And this same feeling of it's all my fault. I could have done something to change, but I didn't know how to communicate. And these were things that were going on physically, but mentally and emotionally, I didn't know how to express or communicate. So I went through that period of time from about 12 to 18 years old and ended up getting cleaned up a bit, kind of got my head back on my shoulders, left for a church mission for my church for 2 years to Mexico, and came alive. I was like, man, this is it. Like service. This is what I love. And didn't struggle with, I struggled through pornography addictions and the depression and video games. And on my mission, none of that. And so I came back, fell back into the same pattern. And I thought, can I really make a lasting change, or is it just temporary? And I thought about that a lot. So much so, I wanted to change my life. So I started reading, personal development books, Jim Rohn and Zig Ziglar, all the greats. But hearing their stories, it was almost as if they had something that I didn't, even though they came from backgrounds similar to mine where they didn't have a whole lot. I grew up in Arkansas, less than like 3,000 people in my town. And I thought, I've got nothing going for me. Struggling. I wanted to become a massage therapist. So I got my massage therapy license, charging $15 to $30 an hour for massages.
Oh, wow.
Totally giving away my services, undervaluing myself, feeling guilt and shame, just a whirlwind of emotions. Yet deep down inside, I wanted a great marriage. I wanted to have money. I wanted to be fit. I wanted these things that so many people could attain. And I thought, am I just destined to struggle? Is that my lot in life? Is that why I'm really here? Or is there some way that I can truly make a change and it stick? So I kind of got obsessed with this thought of changing addictive behaviors, changing into progressing and getting actual results. That year, I ended up finding my wife. We got married. I made like $12,500 that whole year, total income as an entrepreneur. And it wasn't ideal. And I was like, there's gotta be a better way. Like I've got to figure this thing out. There's gotta be a solution. So I did a lot of personal development. I got into some tapping techniques and EFT and getting to root causes and all these things. And I had to put in a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of repetition. And I was like, wow, to make a change, it's freaking hard. Like I put in so many hours and I was like, there has gotta be a better, simpler, faster way. Like if everything people claim is all energy and everybody can just think things and attract things, why can't I? Like there's gotta be something that I can do. So I ended up investing with borrowed money into coaches. And I figured, hey, if I do this on my own, this is going to take me another 40 years to figure it out. So I was like, I might as well bite the bullet now, just take it and do whatever it takes. So I burned all my bridges, left my clinic, became a coach and a speaker because that was just calling to me. And I felt very spiritually led. I dropped out of my college for becoming a doctor of natural medicine. And the next year I hit my first 6-figure income and was able to make over 135 grand, got my wife her grand piano that she'd always dreamed. She's a concert pianist and they never had enough money though to buy a grand piano. And that was my dream. That was my I thought, give me 5 or 10 years. Cause those things are like a house. And was able to do it in 1 year. And I thought, okay, I want to change faster. I want to continue to help other people do the same. So I wrote my first book, started speaking for Ted McGrath and Les Brown, going all over the country, speaking on stages, doing some phenomenal things, more than doubling our income after that. And I got to this point though, where I was like doing all these tools and techniques, which still took a lot of time and energy. They worked, but I thought there has got to be a faster, simpler way. So 2 years ago, my wife was actually struggling with gluten allergies.
Oh, right.
And I thought, all these techniques theoretically should help, and I'd do them, but they wouldn't stick. And I was like, isn't there a way to change an intolerance or an allergy? And so after studying for like 9 months intensively, I thought, okay, I was sleeping one night, woke up with this idea and it was a simple idea, but it changed how I think about everything. And it was this: the only reason she would ever struggle, like have a reaction to gluten, is if some part of her body is actually pushing away the idea of gluten. That's it. If all parts of her were not pushing it away, she wouldn't be allergic. So I thought, well, what if I just did a technique that stopped all the pushing away reactions? And then the other thought happened to me at the same time is, well, to every push, there's a pull. To every action, there's a reaction. To every allergy, which is a push, there's an addiction. So I realized that her body had actually become addicted to the symptoms that gluten was causing and allergic to what she wanted. So I thought, wow, what if we changed that? So I took from all the techniques that I had learned, put it into a system, and did the technique that day. It's been over 3 years now and never had to struggle with gluten since.
Wow.
So I thought, okay, we're on to something. Like that was fast. It took less than 90 minutes and I never had to repeat it. So I thought, does it work with other people or is this just placebo?
Right.
So then we tried it on a lot of other people. We did it on food allergies first and we got the same results. So with peanut allergies, severe anaphylactic shock stuff, like people who were so many different reactions and lactose. And then I thought, well, if it works good with food allergies, and the theory is the only reason someone's struggling with something is if they're allergic or addicted. That's it. Change those fight-flight responses, the symptoms go away. So I thought, well, what about with money? Like, isn't money just a frequency, a thought, a pattern of energy? So I thought, well, if somebody is struggling with their bank account, it means that some part of them is addicted to where they're at and the symptoms that it's causing and allergic to what they actually desire. So I thought, if we change that, what will that do for someone? So I do it on me first because I'm always the willing victim. And so I did it on, and it's very specific. So it's word specific. So I did it on, I have people reach out to me and pay in full for my products who I haven't marketed to. Because I was like, that's a frequency. Why not? I haven't had that happen in a while. Within 24 hours, I had 4 people reach out to me randomly that turned into $8,000 of sales. And I thought, does it work with other people? So we did the same and we got results with, I did it on a practitioner. He ended up getting 10 new clients in a week where normally that would take 3 months. I did it on a chiropractor who was stuck at a ceiling of making a certain amount of money for over 2 years. And he doubled his income in less than 30 days just through aligning. And I thought, what? Like, how far can we take this? So I thought, okay, if it works with food, works with money, what about relationships? So then we tested it out and I said, okay, well, I took someone who their daughter had not reached out to her in like 40 years, like ever written her anything nice. She was just really off. She's like, I really want to connect to my daughter. And I thought, well, the only reason she hasn't reached out is because some part of you is allergic to what you want and addicted to what you don't want, which is her not reaching out. So if you change that, it theoretically should change what happens. So we did. Within 24 hours. No, I think it took 2 days. It was 2 days. 2 days later, her daughter sent her the first letter that she'd ever received of gratitude.
Wow.
And she was just burst into tears and said, this is so beautiful. And I thought, wow. So what about with those really tricky, incurable diseases or symptoms that people say that can't be changed? That's going to be the real test to this, to see if it's really actually legit. So I had a guy, Craig, he had a cardiac arrest. And for 5 years, he had symptoms where he could not function more than 4 hours a day. If he walked, looked left and right, he'd fall over. And his wife was a master energy practitioner. She did so many different modalities. Nothing worked. She tried everything, getting to root causes, passion, trapped emotion, all sorts of stuff. And I thought, well, if I'm right, theoretically, the only reason you have those symptoms is because some part of you is addicted to them and allergic to what you want. If we align, well, I don't know, let's see what happens. So he aligned. He learned how to do it It took like an hour and a half. He called back a week later because I didn't really know. I was like, this is just kind of a test. And he was on the phone. And he said, Tyler, you're not going to believe this. I am functioning over 8 hours a day now. I can go on walks. I look left and right. I don't fall over. He also had to wear sunglasses and earplugs. Like it was too noisy and too bright. He's like, I'm not wearing sunglasses or earplugs. I've got my life back.
Oh, wow.
And when I heard that, I had this impression, I need to teach this process to the world to help entrepreneurs truly become unstoppable, never accept defeat in any area of their life. So we've been doing this for about 3 years now. It's called the Abundance Alignment Technique. And I teach a process that literally helps people transform in a matter of days instead of years.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
That's pretty,
what we do.
that's pretty amazing. There's lots of different people who do different, like you said, modalities, but this sounds really fascinating. And you've written a book about it, right?
So the book is almost done. My wife is putting in, I put all the content in. She's the guru with the words. So
Nice.
She is like on the breaks with our 5-month or 4-month-old. I'm like, okay, if she can knock out 2 hours a day, we'll get it done by the middle of July. So
Fantastic.
it is out to disrupt the mindset realm because we buy into it a lot, and it's good. It's good to have good mindsets, but we need to go beyond the mindset and into every single part of our body. So I'm out to disrupt the personal development mindset world into bringing a new message to say, actually, it doesn't have to be that complicated. You don't have to stare at your affirmations or vision board for years. You can literally just take what you want and align it and be done and move on to the next thing in your life.
Wow. So give me some examples of some people. I know you shared a little bit about who you've helped, but is there something that comes to mind that recently that you were like, this has really helped them? This has become like, they're talking about it to other people. They've been your, customer advocates, your loyal person that's going to share their testimony with other people, because we are on a marketing expedition. Share with me how it's been for you to help market your business.
Yeah. So I'm really blessed to have people who, because my avatar are people who are serious about change. They've tried a lot of things. They're go-getters. They're doing good, but they know that they've accepted defeat in some area of their life, and they're ready to change that and never be a victim again. So I had a lady. This was a crazy one, and I'm certified. I certify people to teach this, and so yeah, I have a lot of people who we've taken over 300 people through to learn the process, and I think we have over 40 who are certified to teach.
Oh, wow.
So it's spreading like a wildfire. But I had one lady, she was so allergic to nickel, she couldn't even take a shower because of the nickel in the pipes. She couldn't even go to like a restaurant where there's any seafood. She'd break out, rash, like she'd have to have EpiPens and stuff. She couldn't even kiss her boyfriend if he ate something without breaking out, like totally affecting her life. And here's the crazy thing. Every single person I've ever met always has one or two things that they just accept as a reality. Like, this is how I was born. This is genetics. This is just the way it's supposed to be. And my mission is to call that out and say, no, we have the power to change anything, anything. And if there is, I'm a high power believer, if there's something that God gave us as a burden, which is maybe like 3% of the things that we actually go through, then if you align to that, you'll be able to cope through it, and not only cope, but thrive in it. But the things that we mostly suffer with are just self-imposed burdens based on past things that we avoid. So this nickel thing, she just kind of accepted. She tried everything. And I thought, well, let's align. So she went on the journey. She learned, invested, did the works. She had to get credit cards and stuff. And I'm like, just do what it takes. So she did. And she, for the first time, went to a restaurant, was able to kiss her boyfriend, take showers again. Not only that, but when you align one thing, what might seem like just this physical symptom of a food allergy, what it affects is your relationships. It affects your business. It affects everything. But we don't see it that way. We just disassociate from it. We're like, that's some part of me that I don't really go. And my goal is to unite every single part of who we are. And as we did that, Now she is making more money than she ever has in her business. Her relationships are key, and she's learning this technique because it's changed her life so much because she wants to share it with the world. So amazing things like that, to even people getting homes in a crazy, if you looked out here, it's hard to get homes without paying 100,000 more because of the market. So we just moved 3 months ago, and we aligned to getting our ideal house because we talked to our real estate agent. He's like, oh yeah, just expect to pay 30,000 to 100,000 over. You got to be one of the first ones. It's like battles. And we looked at him, and he was right. But that's just a frequency. And even if the whole world is addicted to that frequency, I don't have to choose to be addicted to that frequency. So we chose a different path. We took the time, we aligned. Within a week, we found the one house that we visited, and we closed on it within 24 hours. And we were the first people that they've worked with, our real estate agent, in 2 years who closed early.
Oh, wow.
And people look at this and say, they think that everything is just a whim. And I say, you are in control of how so much happens in your life. We just don't tap into that power because we think it has to just be up here in the mind. My goal is to unlock that potential that's been waiting to be tapped into in the body so that people can thrive and truly attain their goals in days instead of years.
Wow. That's really fascinating to understand. And now, as you said, they now want to learn the technique because they were going through it and learned how it can affect them and impact them. So now they're going to teach others. So that's a really great marketing tool for you, for sure.
Yeah. And we market a lot. I do a lot of YouTube as well, and Facebook. But even those, like, I had my YouTube not converting, and I thought, well, the only reason my YouTube ads would not convert is due to an allergy or an addiction. So I aligned. I was rolling out YouTube ads, no one was booking calls. It was just kind of vacant. And after aligning, it literally took 24 hours. A lot of times they're 24. Sometimes they're longer if you're not used to aligning. We had 8 bookings that turned in, and then we dropped our ad spend. It was like $30 per lead, and it went down to $4 per lead.
Oh, nice.
So, and you align, and people think, oh, it's just like this magical thing. Well, what happens is when you're aligned, you have inspiration, you do whatever it takes to just have things work for you. And the allergies and addictions actually keep us from the straight path to our goal. So if you're going towards a goal, most people are like going in circles, going back and forth, like spending time having to put out fires in the house and kids crazy and get sick and all those things. And we're like, oh, it's out of our control. So we think we're helpless to actually do anything about it. But if you believe in the power of frequency, we realize that actually part of me created that. Part of me is actually creating this scenario in my home or in my marriage or in my business. So if I have some form of creation in it, therefore I can make a change and influence it. One of my favorite phrases is, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. But you can sure salt its oats. So I think of that and I say, I'm in the business of salting oats. My goal is to become the best oat salter, to influence someone so much where they're so thirsty that they drink and they get what they want.
Oh, I like that. I hadn't heard that second part about salting the oats, so I think that sounds great as an oat salter.
Yeah.
So what are some things that you do aside from YouTube to help you promote your business and get your word out there to others? And how has it worked for you?
We do a lot of things. I started with before, like, as I transitioned to become a coach, I just networked. And I went through a process that was like a 5-step process I called power networking. And that was what generated my first 6 figures in a year. And so I wrote a book on it called The Enrollment Effect. And essentially it's getting really clear on your message. So you have to know what your message is, who's it for, your story behind your message that makes you stand out from everybody else, and then how to invite people to what's called a strategy session or a sales consult. Then the key is to schedule it in a calendar and solidify it. So you rate them so that you don't have no-shows. So that's a whole process I teach in my book called The Enrollment Effect. And that was what got me the first momentum. As I started to like expand and want to get more traffic, I started to go on YouTube. I tried Facebook. It worked until it shut me down. Facebook jail. Oh, what did I do? And
yeah,
so then,
I heard that.
yeah. So that was cool. I was doing webinars. So for me, because mine's a very, like, it takes people to understand the power of this, and they're so skeptical because they've tried everything. So I have to do webinars to help people believe it, show like tons of evidence. That's why we have like hundreds of testimonials. And testimonials don't lie. So that's like the best way to help people see something is get lots of testimonials from, so I get testimonials every day, every week of just people who are getting new things. And we have a whole page. You can go to my Facebook group and I have a whole ton of testimonials, and it just helps people like understand like, oh, wow, I don't have to settle in my life. Like, I don't have to be a victim in this area. I thought it was just the way it was. And maybe I didn't even think I was a victim, but I just never thought I could change it. And now I change it. Wow, how much more power do I have from my family and to become who I really meant to be? So yeah, we do a lot of different marketing. I also do live events. I do joint ventures with people. I go around and speak at conventions, energy healing conferences, entrepreneurial events. So webinars, events, YouTube now. We ran YouTube for over a year, just ads to YouTube. Those are the main ways that we do it. But it all comes down to, like, you could try any platform. That doesn't really matter. But the key is, do you know your message? Do you know your story? Do you know the results and the benefits that you're going to provide for your customers or clients? And can that be communicated in a way to help them see that it could fit their life and change their world? If you got that down, it doesn't really matter what platform you pick. But I find that most people try to go for the platform like, oh, this new thing, that's how I'm going to get it. But they don't have their core message super solid. So then they're just throwing money at the wall and watching it fall down and be like, oh, nothing's working.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I have a challenge for you. We can just, you don't have to give away everything about how you do it, but I have a citrus intolerance that happened when I got pregnant with my second child during the 3rd trimester. And ever since, anytime I have lemons and oranges or, citrus acid, my mouth and my fingers get sore from, like, if I'm cutting, anything like that. So what would you do? How would you help somebody go through that to, like, see if they could get rid of it?
Yeah. So with food allergies, it's interesting, and having children totally throws off, like, when it comes to allergies and addictions, having babies like throws off everything. Like, you just go out of whack.
Yeah, off the charts.
So we've done it with avocados. We've done it with all sorts of fruits and things. So 2 things. So one, with food symptoms, a lot of times we think it's just the food piece. So for example, Dana Derricks, he wrote Dream 100. He had a gluten allergy. And as we looked into it more, it goes beyond just the food itself. So for him, it was just like this big thing that he just accepted as a reality, but he also couldn't spend a whole lot of time with people at restaurants as much. He had to ostracize himself. Like, it has a lot more meaning behind it than just the allergy. And I want people to understand that, because I'm not just in the business of like, hey, just get over the allergy and voila. There's a lot more to your life that you can get back from it. So with this lemon piece, you might have had a child and some stuff happened in your body. And yes, it's like all these physical hormones and stuff. So there's 2 ways that I would change it. Number one, if it's a really severe allergy, I would always do the full process, which can take up to 2 hours to do. And once you're done though, and you don't have to repeat it. For a short condensed version though, sometimes it hits it. And I actually teach the condensed version for free in my Facebook group, and we do even a 10-day challenge that you can go through. But here's kind of the essence of it. It's easier if you can see me on video, but since it's audio, I'll try to describe it. So I would take the bag of a lemon or something, put a lemon in a little plastic baggie. Now, the moment it's in there, your body is having responses to the idea of that thing. So you could literally look at it, and every single organ and gland and cell in your body is having a different response towards that thing. Your heart might be on board. It might be like, hey, no problem. Like, lemons are great. Your brain might freak out and it might say, oh no, this is going to cause swelling. So it's actually having a fight response towards the lemon. Your adrenals might kick on and be like, run away. This is going to cause pain. So every single organ and gland is having a different response. So this process, you can use muscle testing to actually figure out, which is kinesiology, a way that your body, how it responds towards that thing. Now, if you don't know kinesiology or muscle testing, then you do what's called a power alignment. And it's a very short, condensed version of this. You could take that thing and I would put it in the bag. I'd put it on your belly, and then you're going to tap on your forehead with your other hand. Tap the forehead all the way down to the back of the neck, kind of where that lump is. It's like C7. And you're going to breathe in through the nose while tapping. So it's in. And then on the exhale, you're going to tap again. So all the time, tapping is forehead to the back of the neck. With every breath in, breath out, you're going to tap. So it's inhale, tapping through the nose. Exhale through the mouth while tapping. Inhale through the nose again. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth while tapping each time. You do that 3 times in a row. Then you pant like a dog while doing it. So then you're literally going to pant while tapping, pant again while tapping, and pant again. And then at the end, you smile. That is the essence, as weird as it seems. What it does is it neutralizes the fight-flight responses. What the tapping and breathing do, it interrupts the fight-flight patterns that go on in your body, those addicted and allergic reactions. So the moment that I look at that lime or lemon, my body, boom, has all these reactions. The same thing happens towards money or a relationship. The moment you think about it, you say it, boom, body's having reactions around those things. So this is why positive affirmations don't always work. Someone could say, I make thousands of dollars teaching what I love. But if you have an allergic response to thousands of dollars, maybe your body's interpreting thousands of dollars as, I don't have time with my kids. I have to work really hard. I don't sleep at night. Your body's trying to protect you from the thing that it thinks is bad. So it literally forms these allergic responses towards the things that might be ideal. In your body, lemons and limes may have been, right when you had a baby, it took on some interpretation, which I'm not sure what it is, and we don't really care what it is. We just care, let's shift it and align it. But it took on some sort of interpretation that now believes that lemons and limes are bad. And it has associated that through some sort of the birthing process. So as you align, it disassociates those definitions or meanings or interpretations behind what your body now thinks lemons and limes are. And instead of fighting it, it now can be your choice. Because right now it feels like it's not your choice. It's like, oh, my body is just responding to this. Mm-hmm. Which, when something doesn't feel like it's our choice, I believe one of the most important reasons we're on this planet is to have choice. And these allergies and addictions make us feel helpless. It makes us feel like it's not our choice. I got to go take a drug or something to counter it. And then it just masks the symptom and it pops up some other symptom. So the key here is to acknowledge that and say, oh, wow, I've actually trained my body to have these responses. So I can train it to not have them. So you go through, you take it, put it on your stomach, do that whole breath cycle. Then you could put it on your adrenal glands, which are in your back, do it again. Then you could put it on your head, which will align your brain. Then you could put it on your heart. So I would do it on your core, like organs and glands. And then I would voice 5 negative things around it, like the symptoms that you're getting. So for example, I break out when I touch lemons or limes, or I have to wear gloves, or I can't do this, or it happened because of my birthing experience. I can't change this. It's too hard. Nothing works. So I would say those things out loud, tap anywhere where you feel it in your body, if you do, and then do the breath pattern while tapping. You do that 5, 6, 7 times on some negative statements, then do 5 or 6 rounds on positive statements of limes are safe. Anything citrusy is safe. I can eat them without any reaction. it's easy for me to eat limes and lemons again. My body functions at its optimal level and heals from its pregnancy. So as you say those phrases in a line, you're now getting rid of any fighting responses towards those positive things. So that's how I would do it if it was just to see if it was a quick shift. You could literally change it in maybe, 15, 20 minutes. Sometimes people who have been through chronic stuff need a full one, which covers like 400 different things that you align. So it's very in depth, which is why it works and sticks. Is because of, I've created a whole, it's like 18 pages long. It's got like, you go into layers, you go into, it's really in depth so that nothing's missed.
That's fascinating to see that or hear that you could do that with, like you said, the mindset, but also releasing all of the negative energy and everything that goes with it. Okay, so I want to know, what are some people that have inspired you or taught you along the way that you've gleaned some good information from them, or some, motivation and inspiration from them?
Yeah, well, to give you some perspective, not to brag or sound bad or anything, I've invested almost $500,000 in the past 6 years in coaches and personal development and tools and techniques. And so I one time I listed out everybody, and I think I had like over 40 mentors and coaches that I've learned from and gleaned things from. So I think one of my skills is like, I'm a sponge. I love hands-on learning, and anything that serves me, I just soak in and take. So, I mean, first and foremost is my dad. Like, he showed through his example. Just powerful example. When I was young, like 2 years old, he was out working, and he, recently married, 2 kids, the breadwinner. And he was working on a power plant. He was climbing a ladder and slipped and fell and landed on a rebar and broke his back. He kept working until he was fully paralyzed. He's like, I'm just going to grit through it. And then the doctor said so he got surgery. The likelihood of walking was like 0%, but he didn't want to accept defeat. He didn't want to accept that. So he opened his mind to kind of some woo-woo stuff, like things out there that he'd never looked at. And he got into natural healthcare and started to see that, wow, the body is meant to heal. The body isn't meant to just trap all this crap and keep holding it and accept defeat. Like, we're meant to thrive. And as he went through this, it was arduous, but he began to walk again, and he healed himself through it. So much so that instead of being a mechanical engineer, he became a natural healthcare practitioner. And now he has 2 clinics in Arkansas and thrives there, helping people still to this day. So I look at that and I'm like, in my blood and in my mind, I just know, like, we are not destined to fail. And we are meant to thrive over any difficulty or uncertainty. So I looked at that and I saw that example through health. And then the thing that scared me, though, was the relationship aspect, because some people thrive in one place but then struggle in another, and I didn't want that either. I was like, I want to thrive in every area of my life. And so that's the mission I've been on. And yeah, I've been through different courses, from emotion code, body code, dowsing, walking on fire, done stuff with Tony Robbins, done stuff with New Peaks, 3 key elements. So done stuff with John Assarath, like so many different people, like all the gurus that you've probably heard. I've probably done something, at least a little bit with them, tried it. And a lot of it's really great. But for me, instead of doing a lot of repetition or passion or getting to root causes, I would rather just take what you want, align it, and be done. And then go on and create the next thing in your life.
What advice would you give someone wanting to pursue a career similar to yours?
Similar to mine, find someone who resonates with you and invest. Honestly, burn the bridges and invest. So, and maybe not follow my path, because I was a little crazy. I was like, I literally like burnt all my bridges. You might not do that. So there's a couple ones. One would be to read the book, The Enrollment Effect. That gives you good perspective. It's actually a how-to book. So it teaches you how to package your message, how to enroll clients, how to put it into a way that makes sense. That was the first book I wrote. It's a great how-to book. People have made thousands of dollars just reading the book and applying those principles. So that would be an easy way to start. If you really want to thrive, hit multiple 6 figures or 7 figures, then find a coach that you resonate with, invest big with them. Like go all in, spend at least 10,000 or more with them and go through a journey, like treat it as or better than a college degree. And that's what I've had to do. You know, I've bought coaches for 35,000, 65,000, and I didn't have the money at the time. So never wait till you have the money. I think that was one of my biggest lessons. I just want to share this real quick is I like when I was, and this is what people think is like, oh, if I had the money, I would invest, which is the worst mentality ever. I had that mentality. Like when I first started off, I was at an event, going to the first event I ever attended. This was when I was making the $12,500 in a year. I was pretty much broke. And I was at this event and this guy offered something for like $5,400. And I was standing in the back of the room. That was half of my annual income. So I was like, oh, like that's so much. And the thought came to me, oh, well, if I had it, I would so pay this. Like this would be so worth it. Like all the value, this is so great, but I don't have and the thought came, you know, I don't have the money. And for me, I'm really grateful because I believe that being in tune to a higher being than yourself has made all the difference for me on my journey. I was listening at that time. Sometimes I don't, but at the time I was listening and I tuned in and I heard a voice that said, who are you going to serve? Money or me? And I thought, holy cow, like my whole life, I thought I've focused on serving God. And yet here I am in this place. I've been led to. I need this program. It's $5,400. I don't have the money. And a voice says, who are you going to serve, money or me? And I tuned in and everybody's like cheering and like buying the stuff. And I was just in the back, like having this weird experience, like, oh my goodness, like this meltdown and breakthrough at the same time. And it said, if you choose not to do this, you're being a slave to money. And then the thought came to me of the person who Jesus led to go get the fish. And then one of his disciples, he opened up and there's like money in a fish. And I was like, if I truly had faith in a higher being, do I not have enough faith to come up with like $5,400? Like, who am I really putting my faith in? Am I putting my faith in the money, which shows that I'm broke, that I don't have anything? Or am I putting my money in a creator that is abundant and that can make anything happen? So it was this moment that really made me think about, oh my gosh, my whole life, I have been such a slave to money because I haven't invested in myself, because I didn't have it. And I didn't fully trust my higher power because he had led me to so many things that I didn't take action on because I was afraid and I lacked. So I decided, I got kind of ticked and I was mad at myself. I was like, I have been a victim for so long and I didn't even realize it. And so I made a choice right then and there. I am done being a victim to money. I am choosing to do this. I am in. I didn't know how, but I knew, well, if there is a God, and if there was a God powerful enough to come up with money from a fish, then he's probably pretty creative and he could help me come up with a way. So I just knew I had to get it out of the way where I could trust it and go through it and have the faith instead of the fear. So I did. And I just called people and I was like, all right, make the way. I'm going to do what it takes. So I called everybody I knew, asked for money, which I never did, and did hard things and came up with $5,400 that day, invested. And that was the beginning of many more of those experiences to come. But I think for me, like as an entrepreneur, never be a victim to money. Always lead with a higher power. And if you do that, you'll always thrive and always come out on top.
That's great. Oh my goodness. Okay, Tyler, we should probably wrap up and just share with everyone where and how they can get in touch with you and about your book and all the good nuggets of things that we'll also put in the show notes.
So best place to connect is on Facebook. If you don't do Facebook, do it. Get it anyway, just for this. Go to tylerfb.com, FB for Facebook, tylerfb.com. It'll take you right to my group. It's called Abundance Alignment Technique. And, or you could put that in the, group section, Abundance Alignment Technique. But if you just put in the URL, tylerfb.com, it'll take you right to the group. Join that group. There, I ask for an email. If you want free stuff from me, I give out a lot of like intro stuff of how to start aligning. And then in the Facebook group itself, there's some units that you can go through, or I don't think they're called units now, but there's a section that you can go through that teaches you like the whole principle, does tons of testimonials, shows you how to align, some of the basics, how to chase away pain, and how to like do, I even have group alignments in there. So yeah, we do a lot of things from there. And then if you want to pursue further stuff, like to learn the full process, get really good at it, go on a journey of transformation, make it lasting, then through that, you can find how to do that and book a consult and stuff. So.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Tyler, for sharing all that you have and giving us just a little taste of what it is that you do and how you go about doing it. And I'll definitely have to check out what I can do about my citrus anomaly, I suppose. And yeah, thank you very much. And I'll be looking forward to your new book once it's out. And we'll put that in the notes as well. And yeah, so thank you.
You're welcome. Nice meeting you. And thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. And to our listeners, of course, the best thing that you could ever give us is your review, your share, your like to others if you find value in the Marketing Expedition podcast. And of course, if you're not already a member of the Marketing Expedition community, just go to themarketingexpedition.com and become a member. And until next time, enjoy the journey.
Thanks for listening to the Marketing Expedition podcast. Find more online at peppershock.com. Wouldn't it be great if there was one place you can go to get all the latest information and tips about marketing and advertising? The Marketing Expedition community is that place. People like you gather in our online community to build relationships with others and find the latest marketing trends, tactics, tools, and technology. We help you build your brand and your bottom line. Start your adventure today. Visit themarketingexpedition.com to find out more.